Hi, my friends. On Wednesdays, we download together, guys. And today we are going to talk about the power of doing hard things. And there's a reason I'm talking about it, and there's a reason I feel extremely passionate about it, and there's a reason why you should really be interested in this topic. So, tell me hi, tell me where you're coming from, tell me if you are a Mary Kay consultant or not. If this is not just for Mary Kay girls. This is definitely for everybody, but tell me if you are, and make sure you like and subscribe and comment. That is my payment for doing all of these trainings. And I hope you are enjoying these Wednesdays together and learning more about product, learning more about yourself and how you can be better in business and better in life and all of those things. So, hi Chris, welcome from Indiana. That is so exciting. So, okay, let's jump in. The power of doing hard things. I want to preface this by something that I saw Mel Robbins say, and it was a podcast of hers not too long ago, and it was called The Epidemic of Horizonlessness. Horizonlessness. And what that means is there is a really big problem in the world right now with people that are going through life with nothing to look forward to. Horizonlessness. So, goals, dreams, anything like that. And so, in order to do hard things, I'm going to put the hard thing on the goal, the achievement, the dream, like whatever you're shooting for. That's what we're going to term hard things, because during, not that like something is hard, but the process to get something is usually a battle. I mean, like, whoever says that things are going to be easy and you're just going to manifest itself into success, that's just not my cup of tea. I'm a working girl and I am grit and work ethic and hustle and all of those things. That is who I am. So how do you, first of all, you got to identify, like, what do you want? What are you going for? Why would you even want to do something hard? And I'm going to tell you that in a second, but we got to get through this horizonlessness. That makes me really sad, that because I have so many goals, I wake up every day and I'm like, Heather, settle thyself. What do you want to accomplish today? Maybe this year, maybe, because there's so many things that we could be doing with our lives. And I believe in living a very purposeful life. So get a goal, get a dream, and then let's dig in to figure out how we're going to achieve it, and therefore doing the hard things. So here is the first truth. If I hope you take notes on Wednesdays, because these are noteworthy topics. Truth. If you don't do hard things consistently and frequently, you'll never view yourself as competent. Okay, so I'm going to say that again. If you don't do hard things consistently and frequently, you'll never view yourself as competent. If you never feel competent, you'll never feel confident. So, how many of us walk through life just talking about how we've lost our confidence, or we don't have a lot of confidence, or I'm not feeling confident? And if you look at the definition and how you get confidence is by viewing yourself as competent. Well, you can't view yourself as competent if you don't do hard things consistently and frequently. So why in the world would you want to do hard things? Girls, so we can be confident. So we can be confident. And give me a shout out. When you feel confident, there's nothing you can't have, right? Like, you feel like you could take over the world. You feel like you can talk to anybody, do anything, dream big dreams. Confidence is key. Confidence is the single most important differentiator and the number one trait to be more successful. Confidence. Number one, single most important differentiator between you and the next person is who's got the confidence to go after it, who's got the confidence to do the hard things, to succeed. So it's kind of like this little, circle of confidence, hard things, because confidence makes you want to do hard things, and hard things give you more control. And if you don't just put the line in the sand of, okay, what's first? Am I going to wait to feel confident to do the hard thing? Or am I do the hard thing so I can have competence, so I can have confidence? Pick the hard thing. You got to do the hard thing when you don't want to do the hard thing, when you don't feel like doing the hard thing, when you have no confidence. That is the differentiator between successful people and not. Okay, the great thing about this is that this is not a magical gift bestowed on people. This is a skill that you can learn. So, I'm going to give you 10 things that you can do that will make building confidence by doing hard things make them easier. Because as you know, remember, I just gave you that whole song and dance of I'm a girl with grit and I'm a girl that does hard things and I'm a girl that likes challenges. All of that is mostly true. You know, it's also true. I'm kind of a weenie. And I don't want to like do hard things all the time. Sometimes I need it to be easy. And sometimes I need it to come a little bit faster. And sometimes I'm a weenie. And so you got to have a toolbox. You got to have some things in your back pocket that you can use to start the hard things that will build the competence to get the confidence. I knew I was going to mess it up at one point. Okay. So we are going to build our confidence. I'm going to say it again, build our confidence by building our competence by doing hard things consistently and frequently. So, our next question becomes how do you get yourself to do hard things when your confidence tends to be lower? That's the secret of life. And now, let me also put a little point of information in here. And one of my girls, Tracy, sent this to me as a podcast. And I mean, kind of flipped my world on fire because here I am talking to you about confidence and competence and hard things. But you know, the truth is that every time you do something hard, it expands the part of your brain that controls your will to live. And I don't know about you when you hear it, but when I say it, I get very teary, I get very emotional, I get goosebumps because your will to live, we're talking about something very deep, very powerful with us. But think about your kids, think about your grandkids, think about your siblings. This epidemic of teenage suicide that is like, we're talking about the will to live can be affected by doing hard things. So not only do we have to learn how to do hard things, but we have to teach people, our kids, how to do hard things because it controls our will to live, that part of our brain. Talk about unbelievably powerful and impactful. Okay, so here's our 10 things to do. Are you ready? Are you ready, Freddie? Do you know I named my dog Freddie? He's back. What side is he on? Is he on this side? No, he is on. Oh, there's his little head right there. I named him Freddie so I could say, "You ready, Freddie?" True story. Okay. Number one thing, several of these come from John Acuff. His book Finish is one of the best books I've ever read. It is easy read. He is so funny as an author. The Audible's really good too. That I'm need to read in order to really comprehend. But he narrates his own books and he's really funny. Follow him on Instagram also. He's also completely brilliant. So Finish is the book where several of these philosophies have come from. So the number one thing is if you want to do something hard, you have to make it fun. I know. But the cool thing is you can. And so I think about everything that I'm doing right now. I'm going for a big goal in my Mary Kay business that has, like 19 days left on it, a big deadline. And I wake up every morning and I have a decision to make. I can gut it out, which sometimes I got to gut it out, right? But then most of the time I'm like, but how can I make this more fun? Because I will do more and I'll have more energy. I'll enjoy it, which is much more attractive to people than desperation and white knuckling something. Is how can I make this more fun? And sometimes it's as easy as changing my location in my house, of going and doing my phone calls outside by the pool, or going in my living room and putting on old episodes of The Biggest Loser and putting the dogs on the couch and working there. Sometimes it's just a matter of a location change that for me can make things fun. I also like to reward myself. When I do this, I get this. Hello. I do it all day long. All day long, when I do this, I get this. When I do this, I get this. And so I'm teaching myself to do hard things and that there's a reward on the other side of it. I control all of this. I could just go get the reward. I'm a big girl. I work from home. I am successful. I deserve it, right? Nope. I make myself earn a lot of things because that's how I get myself motivated. So make it fun, make it enjoyable, anything that you can do to do that hard thing more fun. So sometimes it's like getting some friends to do it with you, or I'm gonna like if you've got your best friend and you want to talk to her on the phone, you guys talk every day. Like that's not me, but I know some of you guys do. And I think it's super cool. Oh, I want to talk to my best friend. You don't get to do that in the morning. You get to do that after you do your work. And so that becomes the reward system, and it's bringing somebody else into your goal, bringing somebody into your challenge. Much more fun to do it with friends. Okay. Number two thing is cut your goal in half. Now, this one, when I read this, that this is from Johnny Cupp's book, I was like, I can't cut my goal in half. My goal is my goal. And only quitters cut your goal in half. And like, why would I do that? Like, I am here to win. I'm here to dominate. I'm here to accomplish. I'm here to achieve, all of those things, except for sometimes the goal is a little bit too big for your brain to wrap itself around. And then it becomes very demotivating and it becomes overwhelming. And then you do nothing. So what's better than nothing? Half. I'm like, okay. So what does that mean? What does that look like? And I'll just give you an example about the national position in Mary Kay. This is just an example that was the very first thing that I really had to work through. I want to be a national sales director in Mary Kay, which is top position. You need 20 sales directors in order to do it. And so I look at 20 sales directors and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get 20 sales directors? Like that's so many. And like, who do I even start with? And blah, I get overwhelmed and it becomes too big for my little brain to handle. But you know what I can handle? What could I get 20 new people started on skincare? Could I get 20 new people on my team? Could I get 20 new people with one recruit? Like there's so many ways to cut a goal in half. Cut it in half as many times as you need to get excited about it. Wherever that point comes and you're like, oh, I can do that. That's what you do. That's what you sink your teeth into. You're not taking the goal away. You're just making it so your brain can handle the bigness. So what if you want to be, well, we're going to use Mary Kay as an example. What if you want, let's use real estate as an example. What if you want to sell $1 million worth of houses this year? And that's just like, oh my gosh, that's so much. That's so much. That's so much. So what about, why don't I sell $300,000 worth by the end of August? So your goal can still be million in a year, but what if we back it up into what's the next best thing? What's the next best thing that I can sink my teeth into that will help me eventually hit my goal? That's key. So you can't cut it so far in half of like where it's not relevant anymore. Like it has to line up with your goal. If I want to sell $1 million in real estate, then I can't go put my time into opening a fruit stand. I don't know where I got that, but we'll go with that. Like that's not helping you hit your goal, if that makes sense. So cut it back enough to where if you do that activity continuously, you will eventually hit your goal. So that's cut the goal in half. Now that after I did that little exercise myself, I'm like, okay, there's so much power in getting your brain to believe that it can be done. It's so much power in that. Okay, number 3, simplify. Keep it simple, sweetie, Mary Kay Ash. Simplify all the way down, once again, till your brain can absolutely handle it. I am a very simple brained human being. I don't like a lot of clutter. I don't like a lot of things going on. I like a one track focus. I like to dig my teeth into. I like to put all my eggs in that basket. It's just how I'm wired. So I like things very simple. I don't want 20 different ways to accomplish something. I want one great way or one halfway decent way to accomplish it, and just let me do it. And then if it doesn't work, we can go on to something else. But I kind of got to do one thing at a time. So simplify your goal, simplify your hard things, and make it one little baby step at a time, and make them very clear. So if I want to sell $1 million worth of real estate or makeup in a year, is what's the next thing I can do? Well, I can grow my customer base. I can grow my leads. I can get another listing. So you got to simplify back down. And then, okay, if I get one more customer today, then what does that look like for the rest of the week? What does it look like for the rest of the month? What's it look like by the quarter? And so you've got little benchmarks and little stair steps that you can hit. And I love that. I love the way that our Mary Kay business is created, that we've got those quarters to benchmark it. And I always do it by event. So I've got seminar, then I've got retreat, then I've got leadership, then I've got career conference. And I've got my little benchmarks through the year, so I can be, okay, I want to be right here. That big goal, that's big, but I could be right here by the time October comes around for retreat. And so that's how you break it down into baby steps that are really clear. They're not vague goals. They are, that I want X, Y, and Z before the deadline. And you're just very clear with yourself, and you know exactly how to get there. If the goal and your benchmarks are too abstract or too complicated, you won't do it. So you got to keep simplifying until it's like, I know exactly what I need to do to get that. And sometimes you have to have a mentor's advice on that, and mentors look-see over your plan, because a good mentor will tell you the truth. And she will say, yeah, I feel you, but that activity is not going to get that goal. And you got to have somebody that has been where you are or is where you are that can give you yes, you're on the right track, or no, we gotta switch that. You're gonna need to up your game just a little bit. Okay, next one, number 4 is, what is your motivation? Why? We call that in Mary Kay, what's your why? Why are we doing this? Why do you want it? Why is it important to you? You got to know all of those things. And the thing is, it doesn't have to be, I always thought that you had to have this huge why, and it had to like make you cry, and it had to be so powerful that it moved you into action every second of every day. Sure, if you've got a why that's like that, I applaud you. But if you don't, and your why is, I'd like to pay my mortgage this month, I would like to get myself out of debt, I would like a win because I'm not feeling like I'm winning, I would like to feel good about myself, I would like my husband to be proud of me. That one makes me all teary too, because it's very important for my husband to be proud of me. Like, I love it when he is proud of me. So I work like a dog for that, just to him go, you're baddie. And I'm like, yeah, like I love it. I love to have impact. I want people to say, you have changed my life. You've changed my thinking. You changed my business. Like, that is super important to me. Sometimes the why is just doing what I said I was going to do, have integrity with myself. And that may be silly to a lot of people, but for me, that is not silly, because I spent the majority of my life running, quitting, flaking out. And I don't want to be that person anymore. And so the person that I want to be does what they say they're going to do, and gives their very best to a goal, their very best to their business, their very best to a project. And so that's important to me. So they don't have to be these huge goals. Sometimes it's just as simple as making yourself proud. And I think that's a really good goal and a really good motivation, because I think deep down in our guts and our soul, nobody else will know, but we know if we've given our best. We know if we've done all we can do. We know if we've thrown our heart over the line. And I think that using making yourself proud as a motivation can be very powerful, because it's very honest and it's very true and it's very real. And I love it. It is a large part of what gets me going every day is I got to live with myself. And I don't like it when I quit. I don't like it when I weenie out. I don't like it when I give up. I don't like that. I don't like that side of me. I don't like it in other people. I don't like it. And so I want to honor myself more better than that. Okay, number 5, red light, green light. My coach taught me red light, green light a long time ago. And it is, I kind of mentioned at the beginning of like making it fun. This kind of goes with red light, green light. A red light activity is something you don't like doing. Hard things. Typically, hard things for you are things you don't like doing, whether you're just uncomfortable, you don't know, you're uncertain, you're unequipped, you're not skilled, it really is hard, like whatever it is, you that's a red light activity for you. What you want to do is you want to turn that into a green light activity. So how can I, or at least a yellow, how can I turn this thing that I don't like doing, like, so reaching out to people, I love connecting with people. If if I reached out to when I reached out to somebody, if they reached out back and connected with me, I would love to reach out to people. But unfortunately, that is not the way it goes. The way it goes is you reach out to 10 people and you're lucky if one talks to you back. So what that leaves you to is exposure. It's a lot of rejection that happens right there. So I don't love that. I don't love being rejected. I don't love not being answered. And it's a large part of what we do in sales is a lot of rejection. So if you think that you're being rejected, you're in the right spot because that is the nature of the beast. So I don't love it. So reaching out to people sometimes is difficult. Like I said, I love connecting with people, but that's not exactly what goes on all the time. So how can I make my reach outs, my bookings, my conversation starters, how can I make that a green light activity? Go outside, walk and talk on the phone. Go in the living room where it's nice and cozy and I can watch Biggest Loser with my dogs and all of those things. So how do you manipulate your environment or manipulate your headspace or manipulate your reward system to do that hard thing? Because the hard thing, guys, if we're talking about, in this case, booking, yeah, you can't get around it and you can't get around the rejection. So you either can cry about it or you can manipulate your environment, make it a little bit more fun and do it anyway, because that's the only choice you have in doing the hard thing. Okay, number 6, asking yourself the question, I think is very, very powerful for me, is what will I feel like if I do this? Or what will I feel like if I don't do this? And it really depends if you are motivated by pain or by pleasure. And in this business, it is such a positive environment that you don't hear people talking about being motivated by pain. And when I was growing up in Mary Kay, nobody said something like that. Like it was all about dream your dream and being on stage and free car in the driveway. And it was always the positive things, which is wonderful if you're motivated by positive things and pleasure. But what if you're motivated by pain, like I am? I am motivated by so if those two questions, how will I feel if I do this? Is that more powerful to you or how will I feel if I don't do this? Which of those questions is more powerful to you as far as getting you into action? Because for me, how will I feel if I don't do this is the thing that's more powerful. Like that is what makes me nauseous. That's like, oh, no, she did not. She better get up and do it because like I will not let her down because she's very motivated, talking about myself, by pain. And I don't want to let myself down. And that's very painful for me. So, got to know what you're motivated by. It is vital to get yourself into action. And there is no right way and there is no wrong way. And don't let anybody tell you any different. It is just the way you are. But you got to know and you got to be honest about it. Okay, number 7, what can I control? So I've got this big goal by the end of, hi, Miss Shirley, by the end of June, right? And it's based on results. Most of our goals, most of our dreams, most of the things we're trying to accomplish are calculated on a scoreboard. They're measured in results. Well, I am not in charge of results. Are you in charge of your results? Because I've never been. And if we try to control the results, then we're making things far harder and far more complicated than they need to be. And you'll quit because you'll be like, okay, I need to have 5 parties next week. And if you don't get 5 parties, then you're like, well, I'm out. Can't do it. So don't measure yourself on results. It's an impossible standard. Why don't you measure yourself? Why don't I measure myself on activity? How many people did I reach out to? How many conversations with new people did I have? How many booking attempts did I make? How many new customers did I add? How many samples did I get out? All of those are activity-based goals, and that is a proper way to judge your work. You're doing your hard things. You can't put your work standard and your goal standard on results. Now, eventually it will come down to the results. Like this goal that I have by the end of June, it's results based, but I'm kind of flying blind. I have no idea because it's in competition with other people where people are going to land. I have no control over that. So all I have control over is where I'm going to land and what I'm going to do and the activity that I am willing to do every single day in this month to finish out this and give my very best. It better be my best though, because if it's not, I'm going to feel like, what are you motivated to feel like? It's going to feel really bad. It's going to feel real poor if I don't give my best. Giving my best is the standard of making things fun, is making things motivating to me. So what can you control? Don't put anything on the list that you have no control over because you're going to be fighting yourself when you're going for that goal and going for that dream. Okay, number 8, huge part of my, I look back at my 21 years in Mary Kay and my big wins have one thing in common. And whether it was earning, going into DIQ, that was my first big win. Then it was earning an Equinox. And then it was probably trip. My first trip was my next big goal. And then it was million. And those are my 5 big goals, big accomplishments. And you know what they all have in common? And you better go get yourself this, is a posse of people that were my pace cars. And they were already have accomplished what I was trying to accomplish, or they were in it right with me, and they were actually doing something. So you got to find my friend Celeste Bird calls it her Cheerio, the Cheerio of people that are doing what you're doing or have already accomplished what you are doing. It's incredibly important because I need to know what the standard is. I need to know what the top people are doing or the people right in front of me are doing, because it's easier for me to hit that goal than me just I don't know what to do. Sometimes I get lost in that. I do much better if I've got a pace car or a pace people to set myself up with and even compete with. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to be best friends with them. They can literally be social media people. They can be people that you see in the applause. They can be people you see on In Touch. You don't have to have a real relationship with them. That's not a requirement. All a requirement is that you have a pace car of what you want to hit and what those people are doing. And I'll never forget those big goals that I did. It's my first trip, and I was in a Voxer group, and these girls were like, "We're going to finish trip," and I was like, "We're going to what? What?" I just got back in a Cadillac. What are you talking about? That's way above my pay grade. I don't know about all that. And they were doing it, and I was like, "Well, then I have to do it, because how will I feel if I don't?" It's very, very motivating. So surround yourself with people that challenge your activity, challenge your thinking, challenge the bigness of your thinking. Don't be surrounding yourself with people that think the same way as you do. You will never, ever grow from that. Okay, number 9. Ready? Say no. Say no. If you want to start something, you say yes. If you want to finish something, you say no. Say no to things that are not this. If you want to do hard things, you just cannot be distracted by all the little things that don't matter. And there's a lot of little things. When I say this, this always trips people's triggers of like, wait, everything I do is super important. I can't give up everything. Please. Please let me go on your phone, and you can let me look at the how much time you're on Facebook, how much time you're on Instagram, how much time you're on TikTok, how much time, like let's do a little scouting report on how much time you're on social media, or how much Netflix you watch, or how much you're piddle paddling with. I'm a piddler, by the way. I am a piddler. I just am. Sometimes I just like to waste some time, and which is so funny because it's so against my nature. But sometimes I do it. And if I want to tighten things up, I know where I can find about an hour a day, and it's in my inefficiency. And so you got to be hard on yourself a little bit. You got to say no to things that are not important, and you got to tighten up the time. Like if you're like, Heather, no, seriously, like everything I do is has to. I'm in the have to parts of my life. Okay. So where are you going to shore up to find pockets that you can work? Because you can do that. You can tighten some things up in there. So you just got to be really honest. But saying no to things that are, and that's not no forever. Like some things I'm like, you know what? I'm just not going to do that right now. But in August, I'm going to pick that back up again. Like I'm going to pick that back up again. Here's something about me. I love puzzles. I love puzzles. I love puzzles. I love puzzles. I really, really do. But I don't do puzzles in June because they will suck my time because I love them so much. But in July, can I pop out a puzzle? Sure. Absolutely. So it's not forever. It's just sometimes when you're trying to do something hard, you got to trim the fat. Okay. And the last thing to really transform into doing hard things so that you can become competent, so that you can have confidence, so that you can control your will to live and you cannot live this horizonlessness life. Like, are you with me on all of these things? Is you have to lean into authenticity, have to lean into who you are. And since COVID, things, it's not been the easiest for me. And so when you have to learn new things, and sometimes I'm not the best at learning because I want to do things my way, but the new things you have to do the way that's done. And so like forming into like a conforming sort of thing, like when Facebook parties came out with, like, I'm like, I hate them because they're all the same. There's no, imagination to them. There's no character. There's no personality. And so I just didn't do them. Well, that was a bad move. That was a bad move. So what I would challenge you to do now is lean into your own authenticity. Whatever the thing is that people are doing is making a difference in their business, try it, but do it your way. Do it with your own flair and your own spin and your own personality to it. So messenger parties came around and I was like, this sounds terrible. I can make it my own. This sounds terrible. It's working for other people. I can make it my own. How can I make it my own? So we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just putting our own flavor on it. And so saying like, there are some things that I'm just like, I don't want to do that. That doesn't sound like me. I don't love that. But I am going to try it. And I am going to see if I'm going to like it. Like messenger parties, for example, I did not think I was going to like them. And I did one and I was like, I love it. But I would never have known if I didn't try. And then the first one I did just like somebody else did it. Very boring because it wasn't mine. So it's obviously boring to me. And then the second one, I was like, okay, this is fun. I got some excitement here. And now I'm going to make it my own. Same idea, same outline, but how can I make it me? How can I make it my own? Because when it's your own, you can take ownership of it. It becomes more fun. And then it's better to do the hard things if you are owning the hard things. Okay. So there it is, guys. How do you do hard things? Why do you do hard things? And how important it is to your life. And I hope these top 10, Sarah, I do have training on the messenger party. If you want to message me, I can absolutely get that to you. I've got it in boards. So I will definitely send that to you. So Thank you for joining me. And I hope this helps you. Like, you maybe have a goal by the end of June, but maybe it's just about starting something new in July. Or maybe it's about what's the thing that is just keeps haunting you that you got a grip on. Maybe it's not in business. Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe it's healthy food. Maybe it's physical fitness, and all those things I feel very passionately about as well. What if it's something different? These This 10 list will get you the same thing. How do you make a goal? How do you make fitness more fun? Well, you could go take Zumba classes. Not me. I don't dance. I don't dance. That's terrible for me. Terrible. But like a boot camp class with friends, all of a sudden that's fun. So there's so many things that you can do in this 10 list if you're doing something hard. Number 10 is lean into authenticity. Chris, there you go. Okay. Thanks for joining me, guys. I appreciate you. Like, comment, subscribe, share me. Share me with your friends. Share me with other people that you think could benefit from this training. It really helps the algorithm, and it makes YouTube think you like me. And YouTube needs to think you like me. I need to think you like me. So important. Hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I've already got some ideas on what we're going to talk about next week. So I will see you then. Bye, my friends.